Is it still worth buying the DJI Phantom 4 2022-23? We're going to find out. Now, I bought this drone on eBay a couple of weeks ago for about €300. Now, I was surprised. I only saw the photographs of it. I mean, I was happy with the photographs, but when I got it, I actually got the original box, the case that it come in as well, with all the stuff that you would get if you bought this type of drone. Now, this drone back in 2016 of March cost over £1,200. So, bit of a big saving. At that time when it did come out, I wanted to buy it, but I just couldn't afford it. So, guys, if you're thinking about buying a drone for the first time and you're a bit worried about, why not get something like this? Now, this drone's still got a great name. They discontinued this drone back in 2019. The Phantom 4 Pro, you can actually still buy, but different price tag. But anyway, we'll be having a look at this drone. Now, I've never flown it yet, so that will tell you straight away, you know, because you don't want to buy a drone even for €300 and find it won't fly. So we're going to give it a go. What I love about this, I'm going to take you through a couple of the things, but I'll just show you that in a moment. So I've got everything I need for this drone. Just want to show you a couple of things, guys. The battery is a big battery. Now, when you buy this type of drone, you obviously only get one type of battery. Now, that battery, believe it or not, weighs 462 grams. When you compare, this is 249 grams. So this weighs more than that, you know, which is virtually nearly double the weight. And you can look at the size of it. So I just thought, this example, this is the Mini 2 drone. It would be no different to the Mini 3 Pro drone as well, in weight obviously. But the total weight, including the battery, I'm just going to put that battery back in now. I just clipped it in. So the battery's clipped in now. The total weight of that battery is 1,380 grams. So it's a heavy drone, a lot heavier than the Phantom 3s were. But this drone can do a lot more. We're talking about 6 miles distance range, depending obviously on the weather. You've got a 4K camera. It takes JPEG and RAW. 12 megapixel photographs, which most of them do anyway. Recording, it can do slow motion video in 1080 at 120 frames. It's got 6 sensors on this thing, mainly for hovering and bringing it back. There's a few things, you know, gimmicky things that we will see later on. It works off the DJI Go4 app. Just to mention the cost again. So when you bought this brand new back in 2016, it cost £1,229. Now, I believe the batteries at that time were about £120. I've seen them on AliExpress for €63, including postage, which can't be bad. So we'll just get the set up. Obviously, I'm going back to the old days. Another good thing about this type of drone was the props. It's just push and twist. And what you got to remember is on the rims here, these are silver, and you got the black rims. So where it looks black, which is this one here, you just put it on and they're on easy. Here's the silver one. I don't think you can get them mixed up. There's the black one over there. So it does take a little bit longer to set up, obviously, with the newer drones. Right, your controller, nice controller. Like I said, it's got a good range, 6 mile range. Now the only thing with me is I've taken out my iPad today. Now I'm going to have to change my glasses over, my sunglasses to my normal glasses in a moment. I'll just turn my iPad on. Now the only cable I got at the moment is the big one. So that's going to be a bit of a pain, but I'll just get that, let my iPad settle in, And then the connection is on the back. I'm not going to buy another cable. I mean, okay, if I was flying this drone a lot more, then I would buy a lot shorter cable. Because I've moved on to the smaller drones now. So that's all ready. Well, I'm just going to tap in my entry code on there. So everything's going on there. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to change my glasses over. Now, there's always been rumours about the Phantom 5. I think ever since they brought out the Phantom 4, there was a continuation. The Phantom 5's coming. I personally don't think that's ever going to happen, but you never know with DJI. They could bring out a special edition. So, what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to put on my screen save. So that's on. Right, the DJI Go4 app. Now, guys, before you go out, just make sure everything's working fine. That's what I did. I powered up my controller, because I don't know how long it's been not in use. I powered up the battery. It didn't take long, which is good to know. Obviously, what I'll do now while that's getting ready is I'll just remove the gimbal guard. That's ready now. The other thing is to make sure that your app, you've signed into your app, because the worst thing you want to do is come out here and find out you're not connected. So I'm just going to enter the device. Okay, so I've not turned it on yet. So I'm right in thinking you just keep your finger on that. No. There we are. Wait for that noise. The same with the drone. At the back. Right. So the drone's just starting up. I'm just waiting for the air. Okay. Everything's looking good at the moment. I've got a question mark next to the calibration. What I'm going to do there is I'm going to check that on takeoff. What I will do, okay, that's all. It's still warming up. So that's the only thing about these type of drones. You do have to wait a couple of minutes until it's ready. It will tell you when it's ready. One of the things I wanted to do was just to make sure that everything's on there. Obviously, right, here we go. So maximum altitude 500 meters, return to home at 30 meters. That's all looking good. So yeah, just check for your settings, guys, to make sure it's not in beginner's mode. If you was a first timer, you could click it into beginner's mode, which is a good idea. You got your obstacle avoidance. You can tap and fly. You got all this as well. So don't forget, this drone has got obstacle avoidance, which is another good feature. The controller on the back there, if I wanted to change the settings on the back, I can do that if I wanted to. HD, that's your transmission settings. Your battery's all looking good. That's good to know as well. DLs. Now on DLs, if I remember rightly, it's all, yep, that's all good. Okay, about. Okay, now on the about, obviously you got all your up-to-date versions there. Now, if you want to, sure, guys, if you go onto the DJI, site, I should say, go into Phantom 4 downloads, and it will tell you it's the latest version, which mine is. You can check for updates, but we're not connected to the internet at the moment, so we don't. I've done all that back in my studio, so it's all ready to take off. So we'll see if it flies. Right. So what I always tend to do, guys, is auto takeoff. To me, when I do auto takeoff, if that drone starts going all over the place, then we're going to have to calibrate it. So we're just going to see what's happened there. Slide over the slider. Okay, the home point, all, see how noisy it is. I forget how noisy these drones are, but look at that. That is rock solid. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send the drone up. We'll just do a couple maneuvers first. Like any new drone, you just want to make sure, you want to send it off in a, it's pretty responsive. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put on the record. Okay, so I've got E. That's it off. Just put on record. Right. So what I'm going to do I'm just go over to the right. Over to the left. Now, where I am at the moment, there's hardly any obstacles. The only obstacle it's got really is a tree just the side of me. Let's just bring the drone back. Just going to bring the drone back now. I'll be honest, at the moment, I'm really sort of chuffed with it. It's really responsive to the controller, which is the main thing. Bring it forward. I've got 89% battery. Always remember, guys, to keep checking. Now, I've got it in 4K apparently. I'm just going to stop that and see if I can bring it down to 1080 video size. Here it is. Right, so I'm going to put it down to at the bottom 1080. To me, I've always done it in 1080. I think if I was into photography or video in a big way, because you can enlarge things and you can things like that. But to me, I just checking out again, I just noticed the. I'm going to put it up to 50 frames. Right. Okay. So put the video back on. What I'm going to do now, so I'm quite happy with that. It is a noisy old drone, that. I could bring up the height on that. We're just going to send it off over to the mines there, and we'll see. Keeping an eye on the signal. He's gone. He's off. He's gone off. This signal's still fine. I find it hard to see on the screen here. I'm just going to bring it over to the main building, over that way. All right, I know whereabouts I am now. Let's bring it up a little bit higher. Okay, so I mean that'll do. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to return it to home. Return to home. So it's coming back to me now. I don't know if you can hear it now, guys. But, like I said at the beginning, if you're thinking about buying a drone and you just can't afford the latest prices of the newer drones, get something like this. You find most of these places on eBay, if it don't work, you can send it back and get your money back. And always go for those guys and not probably the private guy who just set up one sale. I mean, I got this off Cash Converters. They're based in Madrid, and they always have drones on there, and they're all been checked. So the drone's just above my head now. I'm just going to stop the video because we'll check that out later on, how that's come out. So the drone's just setting itself up. Obviously you can stop it at any time. You've got the red cross there on the left hand side. It's coming in. It's sort of, no, yeah, it's realigning itself. So it should land about where it took off from. Now also, if you notice, I haven't got a landing pad. That's another thing I loved about these drones. Hand catching, used to hand catch it on the rails there. mind you, obviously depending on the weather. Anyway, what we're going to do now, we're going to take it off again. Now, if you noticed, also the camera does not upright itself. So you've got to make sure that if there's any rocks there, that you put upright the camera. So what we're going to do now, we're going to try some of the other things that's on this drone, but you've got to take it off first. You just take it off. But that's a noisy drone, isn't it? But don't worry, that's the noise they make. Don't think it's just gonna put it over there a minute. Just send it up a little bit more. Right, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna use the controller. Now I've got a few things on here. I'm not gonna mess about with the draw, the gesture. Active track, we'll try the active track. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna have to come out a bit, guys. Okay. Same as before, like all these things, you draw a box around yourself. Okay. I put on the record. I couldn't do trace. Yeah. So, what I could do, if I raise up the drone a little bit, I can do a circle around me as well. So we do that. Okay, so I'm going to walk around a little bit. And it's still on me, which is good to know. Right, I'm going to stop that. I could turn off the video there. Just before I put it away, I just want to check the avoidance. I'm going to fly it towards that tree, and we'll just see, you can see the distance thing there. Just go fly it towards the tree. Okay, so it stopped, which is good. I'm going to bring it back, and we do it towards the camera. We see if that do it as well. Okay. Picking up the car. I think that's what it's doing. Going to fly it towards the car and the camera. So that's as far as it will go. You can see it all on the screen. Hopefully it's been recorded. So anyway, I'm going to bring the drone back. We're coming up to 35%. And all you do to turn off the motors, you just push the left stick in to cut the motors. I've got 34%, so it's all, I could fly it again, but I'm not. Anyway, let's go and have this chat. I'm pretty pleased with that. I mean, to be honest, I think that's 300 euros well spent. That I had no problem flying it over to the mines over there. And don't, like I said before, this is the first time I've flown that drone. Always test it first before you do anything like that, just to make sure everything's fine. And it was. I tried out a few things. I tried out the circle. I tried the track me. The track me worked fine. Now don't forget also, guys, you can use your Litchi app. If you've got your Litchi app, you can use your Litchi app on the Phantom 4. One thing I would recommend if you are getting this drone is get some sort of lanyard. This is heavy. My arms are aching. I mean, okay, maybe I could have got a seat. A lot of people always recommend that. Bring out a seat with you can sit down, because this is heavy and you don't want to be lugging this about. I can't believe how heavy this is, to be honest. I couldn't, you know, you've got a gap there where you can put a lanyard on. So maybe next time I come out with the Phantom 4, I will be doing some more videos on the Phantom 4, because I know a lot of people have got the Phantom 4. Or maybe even you guys, maybe you buy the Phantom 4. It's well worth it. Obviously be careful, guys. I mean, some of those Phantom 4s, we're talking 2016, Some of those might be well used. The write-up on this, apparently, it's still got the stickers on there. Anyway, I think personally, I'm glad I bought it. Now, if you remember a couple of months back, I bought my Phantom one, which is the original DJI drone, the Phantom. And the main problem with that is you've got to get those lights right, and I haven't got it off the ground yet. Motors work, but I'm sure with perseverance, that drone will take off. So, if you're thinking about getting a drone for Christmas or next year, think about the Phantom 4. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And as always, fly safe, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in another one.